All right, y'all, so we are going to be making a plate today. So just wanted to give a quick demo of, how to kind of try to make one. So you're gonna be throwing with a little bit more clay than usual, about 2 pounds rather than the usual 1.5 pounds, that I give you. So again, everything else is the same. Make sure you make a little mark, press it down, really make sure it sticks on there. Just much stuff in this bucket I don't need. Okay. And it will be a little bit trickier to center because it is a bit more clay. So, I just woke up and this is like kind of a struggle for me. So bear with me here. So it might require a bit more muscle. Definitely going to require a bit more patience than usual. But always got to be challenging ourselves, trying new things, and getting out of our comfort zone, right? Which is what this plate / Screwfito project will be. This ring as always. So, and again, remember centering, you're squeezing that clay into the center. Into like a little cone, and you're pressing it down into the center. And as soon as you feel friction, add water, because that's gonna start making the clay softer, make it easier for you to handle. Again, notice that I'm like right over the center of it. I want to dip my mask in the clay. Okay, so just make sure you have good positioning so that you can use all of your strength. And believe me, it is taking all of my strength to center this bad boy. Okay, and then once you get it centered, and you can check it with your needle. You're gonna kind of press it even further down and make, I would say like maybe 1 inch or 2 size kind of plate to start, and then we're gonna kind of pull it up, pull it out, and then let it set up so that you can trim it later on. So you gotta kind of start by just really pressing it down. Try to keep your left hand there, as your wall, so that it doesn't get off center. Plenty of water. I talk a big game, but this is actually really hard today for some reason. Okay. Because again, since we're not pulling up, we're pulling out. We don't need that clay to be super duper high. Starting from the center, kind of pressing down, pulling that clay out. Just go nice and slow with it too. This is already starting to get a little jiggity on me. Again, it's okay if like the inside foot is a little bit lower because we are going to trim a foot into this piece eventually. And again, always good to kind of keep all that clay together at the beginning. And there's lots of different ways to do this too, so I just want to show you kind of one method, but you can of course, problem solve this how you see fit. Okay, so I still got this kind of mound. It's still quite thick, so I'm still just kind of trying to press that clay down and get it kind of centered. Already starting to get kind of a lip, which is just on accident, but well. I'm just pressing into the center and then slowly kind of moving my fist out. myself kind of a little edge, because this is pretty thick in here. And I'm gonna kind of get in there and kind of try to start pulling up this bit from the outside. To kind of create a little bit of a wall. So I'm just pressing in, kind of pulling this clay up from the outside. And again, the last one I tried had a fat air bubble in it. So if that happens to you, Godspeed. It is literally the worst. So I'm just kind of creating an edge. It looks kind of like a, you know, like a dip bowl or something now. It's like, what is the right amount of water? Too much or too little? And I'm just pressing down into the center, kind of even out that clay and push it out. Because eventually this isn't going to be here, it's going to be all connected. All right, so we're pressing in and kind of pulling out. This could be a bit higher too. So eventually this is going to get kind of pulled out. Water now. Just decided to record this demo on a Wednesday, and I realized I have very little time left, so we're gonna have to bust this bad boy out. Okay, so still gonna try to kind of connect these two, pulling this clay down, but I'm gonna start. If yours gets waterlogged like mine, you can just absorb some of that. Just feels like there's a lump in there or something. It's a little off. But we don't have time for this, so I'm gonna, oh, that's what it is. A little piece on the outside edge that's giving me grief. And the rib tool will come in very handy, as will the sponge tool, because this edge is a little bit uneven as of now. Okay, so I'm pressing the center kind of down and pulling it through, and then I'm going to pull this side down and flat, a little bit longer. And then these two are going to meet. So scraping of my own hand. Because the center we always want to be a bit thicker, right? Because that's going to be where you carve the foot in as well. Alright, so I'm just kind of pressing it down. 2 hands on this one, which is a little risk because then I don't have anything holding it here, but it's very weak today. I don't know what it is. Okay. So again, then eventually it comes back together to be like one unit. Just gotta go really nice and slow, plenty of pressure. Sorry about my nails scraping. Literally have 5 minutes until the bell is gonna ring, so a little stressed. And again, you can trim some as you go. I really like to, but that's just me. Oh, okay. It's a cool day to record a demo when I'm having so many bloopers. All right, so final touch is we're just gonna kind of pull this rim down to make it more of an actual plate rather than a bowl. You can tell that this is not the perfect plate, but it is a plate, right? Just kind of flattening it onto my hand. And underneath, and then the sponge is just kind of pressing that clay down. Okay, that's pretty close. I mean, there's enough clay here to where we could go a little bit bigger, but I am out of time, so it's gonna have to be what it is. So once you get to a point where you're like, okay, I like this plate, you're gonna do the same thing you always do. Drag your wire across the back, cut it off, but then I want you to please just leave it on the back because the plates are super duper fragile. So just leave it on there, and then you'll flip it over next class when it's leather hard, trim a little foot into it, and then you can do your sgraffito. So there you go, that was my rough attempt at making a plate.